We're just waiting now for the buffering to stop. Prime Minister, as I say, preparing, thinking, probably sweating as he... can we... no, I think we just need to press play there.
As we
there.
said last week, our objective is to delay and flatten the peak of the epidemic.
This lady here is the Prime Minister's niece,
at the right time, so that we
Davidos.
minimise suffering and save life.
She likes to
And
turn up
we do is based
and
scrupulously on
make
the
funny
best
gestures
scientific
while
advice.
he speaks.
Last week,
She's very
we
small,
asked
as you can see.
everyone to stay at home if you had one of two key symptoms.
And she is very funny.
High
Very
temperature
funny. Hilarious.
Or a new and continuous cough.
A new and continuous
Today,
cough.
We need to go further.
We need to go
Because
further.
according to SAGE, the Scientific Advisory
SAGE
Committee on
and
Emergencies,
Time
it looks as though
there,
we're now approaching
the people
the
who look after the
fast growth
herbs
part
to
of
combat
the upward
coronavirus.
curve. And without drastic action, cases could
Prime
double
Minister
every
is
5 or 6 days.
announcing drastic action.
So, first,
If the
we need to
cases
ask you
double
to
every
ensure
5 or
that
6
if
days,
you
we would
or
be looking at a
anyone
big increase
in your household
in the amount of
as one
cases.
of those two symptoms, then you should stay at home for 14 days. That
So
means
the
that
Prime
if
Minister there
possible,
telling us we
you
should
not
all
go
stay
out
at home for
even
14
to
days
buy
from
food or
today.
essentials other than for exercise.
If you're not at
and in that
home
case,
now, if
at
you're in a
safe
public
distance
toilet,
from
stay there
others.
for 14 days.
If necessary,
I imagine
you should ask for help from others
wherever you find
for your
yourself,
daily
just stay there
necessities.
for 14 days.
And if that is not possible, then you should do what you can to limit your social contact.
I didn't hear
when
that
you
bit. I was
leave the
talking,
house
but,
to get supplies.
When you leave home,
And
wash
even
your
if you
hands
don't
probably
have symptoms,
while
and
singing Happy
if
Birthday.
no one in your household has
She is
symptoms,
so funny.
there is more that
Look
we
at
need
that.
you to
She's
do
making
now.
a sort of spider
So,
and then
second,
looking all sad.
now is the time for everyone
that's brilliant.
to stop
Rude
non-essential
gesture there.
contact with others. And to
So
stop all
there we are.
unnecessary travel.
Non-essential touching is now
We need
banned.
people to start working from home.
People
where
need
they
to stop
possibly
having
can.
sex.
And you should
Need
avoid
to stop using
pubs,
sex
clubs,
workers.
theatres, and other such social venues.
Pubs, clubs,
Goes
theatres.
without saying. Repeat the
Other
message,
social venues,
we
of
should
course,
all
goes
only
without
use the
saying,
NHS when we
such
really
as,
need to, and please go online
fields
rather than ringing NHS
and woods.
111. Now, this advice about avoiding all unnecessary social contact is particularly important for
If
people over
the
70,
social contact's necessary,
for pregnant women,
i.e. you need to give
and
someone
for those
mouth-to-mouth
with health
resuscitation, you
conditions,
should
some health
first
conditions.
check to see if
And
they've got a new
If you
continuous
ask,
cough
well, why are we doing
or a
this
high
now?
temperature.
Why now? Why not earlier or later?
Goes
Why
without
bring in
saying,
this
really.
very draconian measure? The answer is that we are asking people to do something that is difficult and
Yes.
disruptive of their lives.
It
And
will be
the right
disruptive.
moment, as we've always said, is to do it when it is most effective, when
Yes.
we think it can make the biggest difference to
It's
slowing
important,
the
as
spread
the Prime
of
Minister
the
has said many
disease,
times, that we do these things
reducing
at the right
the number
time.
of victims, reducing the number of fatalities.
But who can say when the right
And
time
as we
is?
take these steps, we should be focusing
Yes.
on the most vulnerable. So third,
The most vulnerable in society,
in a few
probably
days' time, by this coming
caretakers
weekend, it will be necessary to go further
and the
to ensure
people
that those
who,
with the most serious health
who sew
conditions
buttons
are
onto
largely
policemen's
shielded
uniforms.
from social contact for around 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
And again, the reason for doing
So
this
you've heard it
in the
officially
next few
there
days
that
rather
for
than
12
earlier or
weeks
later
the government
is that
will
this is
be
going to be very disruptive for people who
failing
have such
and
conditions
indeed
difficult for
avoiding
them.
all
But
decision
I
making.
believe it's now necessary. And we want to ensure that this period of shielding, this period of maximum
That
protection,
we're going into a period of
coincides with the
shielding
peak
now,
of the
where
disease.
we will be protecting ourselves,
And it's now
probably
clear
particularly
that the
our
peak of
genitals,
the epidemic is
from
coming
attack from this
faster in some parts of
virus,
the country
which
than in others. And
has
it looks as
so
though
far
London is
cut
now
down
a few weeks ahead.
many men
So,
and women
to
in their
relieve
prime.
the pressure on the London health system and to slow the spread in London, it's important that Londoners
London
now
there,
pay special attention
one of the
to what we're
most
saying
important parts
about
of the country,
avoiding non-essential
and also
contact,
well ahead
and to take
of the rest of the
particularly
country
seriously
in
the
the
advice
numbers
about working
of
from
people
home
with this
and
virus.
avoiding confined
Well done,
spaces such as
Londoners.
pubs and
You're doing your
restaurants.
bit.
Now, lastly, it remains true, as we've said in the last few weeks, that risks of transmission of the disease at mass gatherings, such as sporting events, are relatively low.
Exactly.
But obviously, logically, as we
Sporting
advise
events,
against unnecessary social
apart
contact
from
of all kinds,
show
it's
jumping,
right that we
mainly
should extend that advice,
only visited
to
by
mass
the man on the
gatherings
street
as well.
who,
And
frankly,
so,
is
we've
likely
also
to get
got
this thing
ensure
anyway.
that, we have the
So
critical
the Prime Minister
workers
very
we
sensibly
need
there,
that
focusing
might otherwise be
on
deployed at those
top-class
gatherings
restaurants,
to deal
Angus
with this
Steakhouse,
emergency. So from
those sort of
tomorrow,
establishments
we will no
where
longer
the
be supporting
better off
mass gatherings with
business people
emergency workers
essentially
in the way
would
that we normally
mix.
do. So mass
We
gatherings,
must preserve them.
we're now moving emphatically away from. And I know that many
So
people,
the Prime Minister there
including
announcing
millions
that we're
of
moving away from
fit
mass
and
gatherings,
active people over 70,
running
may
from
feel, listening to what
festivals,
I've just
staggering
said,
away from football
that there is
matches,
something excessive
and
about
I
these
guess
measures.
any
But I
sort
have
of
to say, I
gathering
believe
that's
they are
large,
overwhelmingly worth it
like churches.
to slow the spread of the disease, to reduce the peak, to
We must reduce the
save
peak,
life, minimise
Prime Minister says.
suffering, and to give our NHS the chance to cope. Over the last few days, I've been
Yes, the
comparing notes and
NHS
talking to leaders
is
around the world.
unlikely to
I can
cope,
tell you that the UK
seeing as it
is
can
now
hardly cope
leading
with a
growing
few sniffles
global
on an
campaign
August
amongst
afternoon.
all our friends and allies, whether in the G7, the G20,
I think if
UN, the IMF,
we can
all
flatten
those
the
bodies in which we
curve,
play a
as the
significant role,
Prime Minister
we're
has said
leading a
many
campaign
times,
to
and do
fight
this at
back
exactly the
against
right
this
time,
disease, to
I
keep
think it
the
will be
economy
fine.
growing, to make sure that humanity has access to the drugs and the treatments that
It's
we all
very
need.
important to have access
And
to
the
drugs.
UK is also
I've
at the
got
front of the effort to
a supply
back, business,
from
to
a
back our
man
economy,
who
to
works
make sure
in
that we
King's
get
Cross,
through it.
and he works
I know
tirelessly
that
to get
we
me
are
my
today
drugs.
asking a lot of everybody.
I'm lucky
It's
in
far
that
more
sense.
now than just
COVID-19
washing
does
your
not scare
hands,
that man,
though
I tell you,
clearly
and
washing your hands
neither do
remains
many
important.
things,
And I
apart
can
from
tell you
the police
that across this country,
and
people
dogs.
and businesses,
Large
in my
dogs, not
experience,
small
are
ones.
responding with amazing energy and creativity.
Amazing
to the
energy and
challenge that we
creativity.
face.
They're
And I want to thank
applauded by
everybody
the Prime
for the
Minister.
part that you are playing and that
Thank
you're
you.
gonna play.
That's okay.
Our chief
He
scientific
looks
advisor
across
will
there
now
at his niece,
update us on where we are.
but she's
Over to you,
ignoring
Patrick.
him. Not surprising, really.